We are back with episode 3 of season 5, and before we jump in, I want to highlight that we've partnered with our good friends over at Schiller to co-present this season. I've been advising Schiller for the last year as they help consult and market some of the most vibrationally aligned companies in the space. They're releasing their new season of Curated alongside this season of We Do A Little, so be on the lookout for new episodes from them, including some of our favorite people such as Brian Brinkman, Sasha Stiles, Chris F., and more. Links to their podcast are in the description of the episode. We'll also be doing a little event during Art Basel this year together, so stay tuned for more details. If you'd like to sponsor Season 5 of We Do A Little, please reach out to info@schiller.xyz. That is info@schiller.xyz. Without further ado, let's dive into this week's episode. In the third episode of Season 5, we are joined by one of our favorite anons in the space, Tervo. Tervo is known for his long-form writing over at Page One, as well as his hilarious Twitter account where he stream of consciousness yaps all day while providing updates on his daily lunch orders. We dive into Tervo's process for staying curious and being early to new trends, the paradox of money, his writing process, the psychology of crypto trading, and more. Note, this episode was recorded in April 2024, and Annie and I had some takes on blast gold farming that aged like raw milk left out in the sun for an entire summer. We win some, and we lose most. As always, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Andy, Deeze, and guests may be invested in companies or tokens talked about in this podcast.
This is Andy.
Yeah, I'm Deeze.
We're here once again with another episode of We Do A Little Pod. Very special episode here with a fellow Anon D-Gen, Tervo. He is Tribune of the Reply Guys. He is a long-form writer. If you've heard of Page One, he writes with Talks and Bofin. I think I met you through Moon in the One Discord. And just overall, very in-tune D-Gen who I feel like needs a bigger platform that people hear him rant.
It's an absolute pleasure to have a platform to rant. Deeze was like, do you want to come on the podcast? And I was like, you know that there's nothing that I enjoy more than like having a captive audience who's just forced to listen to me talk. That's like one of my favorite things in the world.
You have a very, I think, unique perspective, and you're very dialed into the space. Like I feel like online terminally for like 16 hours a day.
Yes.
From when you wake up to when you go to bed.
Basically, yeah.
And you don't really miss that much. Or you're aware and you're content to miss things, but you're also aware that it happened.
And I think that that's like one of the most important things is the content level, because it's like, I remember after Bohm, and so it's like, because I'm like a Dark Farms collector, like I have some what's it called? X-Chain cards and like a bunch of smalls, some of his stuff from like Notable Pepes. And so I was just like aware of it. And I sent it to my friends. I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, this is just me supporting Dark Farms. Like, I don't know. It seems cool. He's probably got a thing going on. And then it was just massive. And one of my buddies messaged me and he's like, how do you stay on top of all this? Like, how do you always find these? And my answer was really like, dude, like, I just kind of let the network like bring it to me. Like, cause most of the time, the bangers are just on the timeline. Yeah. And it's really just up to you to swing. And it's like just part of recognizing when you want to swing and learning. Cause like, you know, we'll get into it, I'm sure, but I have, just like you, it's like you always said, and I have that one thread and it's like, everybody makes it, loses it all. That's your tuition. Like, congratulations. You just paid for your education. Try not to fuck it up the next time.
Dude, you posted this thing, and I'm going to botch this. And I've tried to find it before and I can't. I think it was like a picture of a quote, but it was like the paradox of money.
Yes, it's an intuitive quote.
Yes. When it's basically like the less money you try to make or the less you respect money, the more money you can make. And it's this like people who are very desperate to get a win are actually less likely to get a win because they're so desperate to get a win.
We'll plug my boy just because he's great and he's a great mindset person. Like, I remember, because I don't even know.
Like, when you're putting money into the Bone pre-sale, it's like you just assume it's like,
and it's
if
like,
I lose
so
it.
I tweeted a screenshot of this in September, And I think the tweet was already like a couple months old. And Intuito was like, it was like the middle of last summer. And he was like, I'm studying bull market charts. And like, people are like, are you kidding?
He's in
Are
the
you
fucking lab.
serious? And so there are things so comical and ironic, the secrets of life and trading. Most people don't think about these concepts. I think about these concepts a lot. Life is full of paradoxes. You have more if you give more. You are most authentic by not trying to be authentic. You become wiser by admitting that you don't know everything. And the great trading paradox is, in order to make a lot of money, you must not value money.
Yes.
So we must learn to not value money, to not value the very thing we want. And it's like, that's very much it, because it's like, it's the same thing that I've been yelling with, most specifically Bohm. And it's like, Bohm was such a great win to see, because it's like a lot of these guys who are in that, like, the people who collect dark farms, like, they don't do it to make money. Like Sunday Funday, like, dude, that guy's never gonna sell anything. And they're just authentically pursuing things that they're actually interested in. Like, I went to the Frog Gallery last year, and I was standing outside with Slug and a couple other guys, and they were like reading each other poetry, like handwritten poetry. And I'm like, you guys are so beautiful, just incredible.
Poetry they had written.
Yes. Like, we were exchanging like postcards with poetry on them. It was amazing. And I think that that's another one of the most important things that a lot of like trader people aren't as focused on, is like, there are just so many types of people. And if you're not aware of like what they're doing or just being aware of what they're doing in the market, gives you just more perspective. And it's like, I will take all the information you can give me, and I'll figure out what to do with it later. Like, I'll stash it away and it'll pop back up eventually.
The torrent of information is hard to often like parse through. Do you just kind of get hit by the barrage and then go on walks, or take time to think about it? Or how do you separate the signal from the noise on the timeline where it's just so like much?
Yeah, and that's a great question. It's like, it's another back to like where just knowing when to swing, and it's like, there is no hard fast rule. Like, there is no like, oh, I see this for sure, like, let's do it. It's like, no matter what, at some level you're gambling, and it's like, you're trying to make educated gambles that you actually feel good about. But my like information past like dictatorial curation of my own timeline and like my own Discord, which is something that I yell at people about all the time. It's like, you need to trim your stuff. Like, I have friends who they follow like 4,000 people. I'm like,
I follow 7,000 people.
I'm like, brother, I know you're following Dead NFT Project from April 2022, and they've never tweeted. And it's like, just go through and cut all that. And it's like,
I need to do that again.
Yeah, I do too. But it's
I just make a new list instead.
And so they just killed all when Elon killed the API, it killed all my unfollow apps.
Oh, you had the tools that would show you, hey, this account hasn't done anything in 31 days.
Right, and
let me go through and clean it up.
And that's the most. It's like just curating your information streams, both like, and whether that's like, for some people that means like wallet tracking and Telegram messages, Telegram alerts, like price alerts. And it's like, I don't use a lot of that stuff really. Like, people are always kind of surprised by how like unfocused I am. They're like, oh, you must have like a system. I'm like, brother, my system's sitting at the computer for like 16 hours a day.
That's my system.
Yeah. It's like,
my system is I don't sleep.
Yeah.
And all I think about is crypto. That's my system.
My system is I wake up at 4 a.m. and I take my laptop into the toilet, and then while I'm going to the bathroom, I farm my crops and look at Twitter. And then I go to bed and I subconsciously process what I looked at, and then I wake up at 8 a.m. and I just fucking ride.
And so back in the day, we'll get into the page one lore, because like when I was writing the weekly NFT recaps, and so I guess we'll just
get into there. Get back in.
And so I got into crypto August 2021. I was like, I had just graduated college. I started my job. I was working like back office commodities, and since I've moved to like front office, but I had like, $500, and my brother and his college roommate were into crypto stuff. our buddy had been like trading Bitcoin since like 2017. They used to like come home after the bar and like he would send my brother like 0.1 Bitcoin and they'd just play Bust a Bit.
Just gamble.
This is like 2017. They probably lost who knows how many Bitcoin.
Too much.
Way too many. Don't think about that. And so I was like, dude, this is the dumbest thing ever. It was like punks going off for the first time and like Visa buying a punk and stuff.
Like $400,000.
It was right around there. Yeah. And I was like,
$1
this is so stupid. I'm gonna try it out. If I lose, I lose. I probably deserve to lose because this is the dumbest thing in the world. And so my brother sends me an invite to the one, which is Moon Overlord's Discord.
Shout out to Moon. He's got to get on this podcast at some point.
Dude, yeah.
I got to get him to come
he's
to
a hermit.
Goddamn event. He doesn't leave his house.
I know.
He just talk to him in DMs
he
all
just
the
tends
time.
to his garden.
I'm like, hey,
he tends to his actual in real life garden.
All right, maybe we'll record the pod in his real life garden. I'll bring
Fly out to him,
we're gonna need a Moon VTuber to get him on the pod.
Yeah.
And so the one was like, still is to this day. Go join, hang out. Free, open, not project affiliated. And so like, I do think that was one of the most important things because it's like, if you're like if you start out and you're like in the Azuki community or whatever, it's like, that's great. That's awesome. Like you're going to meet great people who do great things. But at the same time, like just being in like a server like that, where it's like you just have, you have more of a filter. And it's like, dude, we were in like NFT general from like August to like the next April, like after Other Side was 100 messages a second. Like you just could not read this shit. It's like just concurrent conversations of garbage going on. And so somebody would drag in every single dead cat off the street and every single gem. And so like, and I mean, dude, some of the roster of like people that came in with me and like sat in the one is just hilarious because like Bold was there, Bold Leonidas. And so he's still one of my best friends, great guy. End was there. He now runs Keeper. He was the product lead at Treasure. And so he was like in there yelling at us to buy Treasure. And I'm like, End, get out of here.
Get out of here.
No, I'm not buying your bags, your stupid white words. And then it was like 3 months later, and he's a millionaire. I'm like, damn it.
You're like, why did I do that?
And so yeah, it was like we got to like January, and I went to Moon, and I was like, okay, there's just a barrage of shit going on like every week, and if you leave for a week, you come back, you have no idea what anybody's talking about. So like, what if I just write like a weekly recap? And so we started it in the one. And then like writing in Discord is just terrible.
Yeah, horrible.
You can't format anything, blah, blah, blah. So then we moved it to Substack, ended up picking up Tolks, eventually our esoteric essayist Bofin. And
He tried to warn me about Yield. I didn't listen to him.
No.
He was the guy on the timeline who's like,
Bofin is like, I was just talking to Tolks yesterday, and I was like, I just need to make sure that Bofin keeps the ratio of being like a horny poster to being
the first thing he did on Farcaster was make a channel to post hot women. He was like,
and I'm like, I need to. It's like my only job is to make sure that we keep the ratio of horny posting to using your brain to write great essays. Like the community as a service one is killer. Like he did one with Bill Monday. He did one on the Reddit NFTs, and so it's like he has a brain that works in that way. He did, and so he did one on game economies.
Yes.
And that's why he had takes about Yield.
I still think everyone's wrong about Yield, but
I still haven't
haven't
read anything about it.
15 minutes ago, I just bought another 4 ETH worth of Yield because I'm a fucking moron and I am going down with the ship.
My buddy was on it. Yeah, Bofin and our buddy were on it at like 80 cents. And I was like, I don't have any money on Blast. I'm gonna ignore this. And then like 3 days later, it was at $8, and my quote was literally, missed the first 800%. Now I'm gonna cope about the next 800%, and I just left it. Like it's
Smart.
like, no, I'm okay.
See, I had this whole other experience of like the game is still in week 1. The market cap of this token is very small.
Yeah.
Blast Gold is kind of this esoteric thing right now where
I still haven't looked into it much.
So maybe we can pill you.
So that's my thesis. Is basically, I think there are a lot of very smart crypto people.
There are.
like yourself who have not looked into it at all.
That
and I
too.
think that people are massively undervaluing how valuable it is to farm blast gold right now.
I would bet.
And so like I think that yield and all these things are like insanely undervalued because like all of a sudden it's going to be May. And some people are going to get some insane.
Like we're gonna
airdrops.
get 6-figure airdrops,
right?
I
And
think
it's
we're gonna
no,
get
and it's the
7-figure
exact
airdrops.
same.
I think we're gonna
it's
get
the
7-figure
exact
airdrops.
same
Maybe,
thing as like, and this is what it always goes back to: taking action without you need to just suspend your financial, satisfaction for like, we're talking about 6 months here.
not even. It's like 2. It's like May.
It's like, brother, I'm asking you to stop throwing darts at the photon hot pairs and do something that might pay off like 1,000x in like less than a year. Okay, like that's all I'm asking.
But bro,
is for you to
Ansem with
stop
hat
shooting
just-
dice on photon, please.
Yeah.
Like.
Anson's mom with hat just came out, bro. How am I
And
gonna
it's like,
miss this?
because friend tech is the exact same thing, and it's like now I'm sitting here with like 20K friend tech points.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
like, dude, are these like if these numbers are anywhere near real, like this is gonna be absurd.
If these are over $4, I'm gonna shit myself because
I mean, it'll be over $4.
I have like 32K.
Yeah, and
And
it's
it was-
I'm in the similar.
yeah,
range.
and I was just like, I was just using the app like normally, and it's like I was on there so early. I was like the 20th.
It was
user.
fun early.
It was
the
awesome.
keys were
Yeah.
under 0.2.
Dude, well, because it was also the only arena open. It was like April. It was
Yeah,
last
nothing else.
April, last May. Nothing else was going on.
yeah, I think I didn't get in until early
I think
August.
it was August.
Okay, yeah, I might
Or
be
early
it was
August. I was talking to like people who I never had a chance to network with on Twitter, but I knew them.
Right.
Like it was actually some of the fantasy sports guys.
Yeah,
Like
it
Davis
was fun.
Maddock was. I
Yeah,
was
we
talking
got
to
a
him every
bunch of the
day in his
fantasy
chat.
sports guys. You were one of the accounts I'd always. People would be like, Andy, what are good accounts to buy? I only have like.
I know,
4
yeah.
of these."
I
And
was
like,
using it for
"Buy
a
Turbo,
while,
talk
and
to
then
him."
I need to get back in there.
yeah,
Because I
I've
need to
fallen
get
off.
like, it's fun. Like for me, like I like doing like a unique bit. Like for a while, I was doing 30 minutes. It's the exclusive Turbo Keyholder 30 minutes of sun playlist weekly.
30 minutes of sun playlist.
Yeah,
You
so-
go out on your balcony
Yeah,
every
it was a
morning.
30-minute
That's like something you
playlist.
actually do.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to get back to it because I mean we're getting.
Well, you're
back
not
to,
getting it here.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, and
I
so
was
but we're
doing
getting
it this
back to
past
sun
summer, but-
season. Yeah, I was like, I was so tan last summer. I had like a perpetual sunburn, and I'm colorblind, so I like can't really tell.
Are you like full colorblind or?
No, it's like I'm like deutropanopic or whatever, and it's like just enough so that like if you imagine a color wheel, like the colors that are right next to each other, I
Just
mix
kinda look
up.
a little similar?
Yeah, and so it's like purple, navy, black, like
Yeah.
so on and so forth. But it doesn't have like a huge impact on me. But until I'm like look like a lobster, and somebody's like, "Are you okay?"
You put on a
And I'm-
shirt and it kind of
yeah, and I'm like,
hurts.
"Oh, I didn't realize this." And so I want to find another like bit to do on friend tech, but it's like at this point because now I'm on Farcaster like all the time.
Are
and
you
it's
on
like,
Farcaster more than Twitter now, or do you think it's still more Twitter?
in the first week? And so we're gonna put a pin and we're gonna come back to the page 1 rant. We're gonna get back on that one. But I had to note that down so I don't.
Yeah,
forget.
we got the page 1 rant
Yeah,
pinned
put the
over
pin
here on the
it.
bulletin board.
So for Farcaster reply guys, I was like things were going off there. It was the beginning of February. It's like February 2nd I made reply guys because I was talking to my friend and I was like, Farcaster just feels like a library, you know? And it's like if you don't talk like this, like there's gonna be somebody really smart who comes over and yells at you. And like there were no shit posters there. Like I mean there were,
No,
but
it
in a
not much.
different.
Well, I remember when I first got on Farcaster, like way before that, because I have a very low ID. Like I signed up,
Yeah, same.
and I basically was like, what my first ever tweet was like, I'm gonna ruin this app.
And
I don't feel
right,
like I fit
and there's
in
so
here.
many of us that were like that, and it's like,
gonna ruin
and
this.
because that's what I kept hearing the same thing from everybody, and so between when I joined, which was like sometime in 2022, and they had introduced channels, DGen was going off, and some other stuff was happening, and I was just like, you know what, like. I literally tweeted, I was like, I want to use Farcaster more, but I'm lonely. Like, maybe I'll just make a channel for everybody to find each other. And then the name just came to me in a vision, and it's the perfect name, of course. And I was like, all right, everybody just come join the Reply Guys channel and use it like your timeline.
And now does it have like over 10,000 people in it?
It's 18K. It was
Dude, I remember when it was
the
like
past week
3K.
it went parabolic.
Yeah, I remember it was
no,
like-
I mean it took like it took like in the first week, I think we hit like 5K or something. And so, but what happened is Sinez started, we are so early, on the exact same day. And so it was February 2nd. And so we both like that kind of, and so I wrote about it in an article called The Reply Guys Manifesto. And it was just like about what I wanted, you know, like the ethos of the channel basically, and like what I was looking for from people. Because like for the first week I was in there just like bitching at people. I was like, dude, like no. Like you're not gonna follow for follow in here. Like you're not gonna be an annoying
tip
little
for
farmer.
Tip, bro.
It's like see you later.
Give me your
like,
aloe, I'll give you mine.
And then eventually, or where was I going? Oh, so in the Reply Guys Manifesto, I said that it was kind of like we just like pushed the snowball down the hill and then just
just
kept
it
on
get bigger
rolling.
and bigger.
Yeah. And so, but the fact that both of us came over on the same day. And so in that article, like I talk about how, like the course of events that has brought Farcaster to where it is, like I very much think was necessary. It's like, because when they were onboarding people, DWR was doing it like manually.
He's doing video calls. I think we were on a video call together with him.
And that was like super
Was it you and me and him
right?
on Google Meet back when we were like working for
Yeah, I think
Fractional?
so.
Yeah, because what's your FID like in the
like 2,000 or something.
Yeah,
okay,
I
because
waited.
mine's 5,000.
Bye,
I got in, and I got in from a DM. A pleasure to meet you.
We I think I waited because I was like, dude, this just
No, yeah, I
don't
got
know,
on
man.
there.
I like Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's
And-
like, well, and it makes but it's how it progressed makes perfect sense because he was trying to build an app where it had a productive vibe.
Yes.
You know, and it was like, it's not like if you were just a shit poster, like he wasn't going to let you in, but like they were trying to look for people who were, you know, looking to expand their network and do productive things and this, that, the other thing.
I think what was really valuable about that, and like with the benefit of hindsight now, is like if it had just started out with the like, holy shit, we're all gonna get rich on degen
Exactly.
thing, it would have blown up and gone away. But there was this foundation of people
Right.
who were gonna use the app no matter what,
Right.
because they liked it and they were in and they had no financial motive to do it. And so like with that foundation of people, it was able to handle the ebbs and flows that it's had of everyone else, and it still has like this like base layer culture and like usage that's really really valuable.
Right, and like the
Whereas I think
fact
Friend
that
Tech might have
they
struggled there in the same
right,
way,
and
where
they're
it went
kind of like
straight to-
inverse. Yeah, they're inverse of financialization. It's like DWR and team very purposely pushed away the financialization to start in both protocol level and people level, and it's like once it opened up, it still had that feeling. And so in that same article, there's like a subsection called the full degen builder spectrum. And it's like, because a lot of these people, like the people who swear off financialization, it's like, and you know, they think you're going to hell if you ever do anything that could remotely be called speculating. And it's like, that's a 100 all the way over on the builder side. And it's like, this is a bell curve. And it's like, over on the 0 degen side, it's like that's the guy who's launching Ansem's mom with hat like all day long.
He launches 15 Solana coins a day,
and it's
if
like
one of them
most of
hits-
these people, most people are somewhere between like 35 and 75 or whatever, the 35 and 65, and it's like, you know, I'm probably at like a 45.
Yeah.
I'm
probably a 15 or a 20 because I'm I'm an idiot. I want to financialize everything. We were having a guest on the last pod and I talked about a president dying being bullish for my bags, and he's like, you might need to cut that. I'm like, no, I'm like, that's how I think
good
about
content.
it. Like, leave it in.
But
anyway,
and so, but those are like a lot of my friends are like, oh, they think of like these, like, you know, a lot of like the OG Farcaster people as like kind of nerds, you know. It's like, oh, you're kind of lame, and it's like, okay, actually, they're dorks, but they're cool. Like, it's cool to be a dork and be super into whatever it is you're into. And I think like a lot of people don't want to look past that and be like, oh no, this guy is cool. And you know, they butt heads, and like, cause I remember on the first week or two, it was like, there were like OG power users who were like posting in the /Farcaster channel, like basically just subtweeting me and Cinez, and like because it was like the influx of new users must learn how to use the app with proper etiquette.
The cast quality,
and it's like I agree to some level. Like I understand that my reply guys just disrupted the timeline, but like we need each other, okay? The degens need the builders need the degens. What are we gonna gamble on if there's not somebody building it? We're not building it. No. And it's like
we're definitely not building it.
And it's like you have to have an appreciation for that. And I think we're getting to the point now on Farcaster where there are people there who are from that OG class, and they're like they're working on all sorts of cool stuff, man. Like they have so much, like there's bracket game, like it's almost like friend tech for like sports, and like they got frames for this, that, the other thing, and it's like you can jump in and find something dope that you'd be interested in. And now with the influx of people that like kind of followed me and Cinez over as a humble Luzan Al-Gaib, it's like, okay, you guys have users now. Because I had a call with this guy who was working on a tie-in for Farcaster that like looks at a bunch of stuff, and he was like, he was telling me how he was kind of discouraged by the library feel, and it's like, is this ever going to be more than an echo chamber for intelligentsia? And it's like, yeah, motherfucker, I'll bring the boys over and they'll just shitpost. Like, yeah, sure, like let's do it. Because at this point, like now I'm like, dude, I'm on Twitter and it's like 1 billion bot replies, and I'm like, guys, we have other options.
Every reply is a 6 or 7 digit number pointing to a fake airdrop link and porn bots and a whole bunch of shit.
And everybody's like, oh, I got my 300 Elon bucks this month, and I'm like, that's sweet, honey. I've gotten like 2.5 million degen in the last 2 months. Like, just come use the app, please.
The degen allocation method, like I haven't really seen anything like it. The way that you have to tip and you get an allowance, and outside of the people doing tip for tip and like that type of stuff,
right? Because they nerf it. And because we were actually we only realized this like last week in Reply Guys. It was a topic of conversation. We were like, wait, if I tip you back after a tip, they nerf that? Because like people will just troll each other. Like they're not farming, they're just trolling.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, okay, so we had to stop that.
I love to tell the story too of the Valentine's Day degen tip.
Yeah,
like that.
No,
that's now everybody got $50,000.
Yeah,
at if degen's 5 cents and you got 1 million of them to give out, you basically were able to give out $50,000 to your friends.
Yeah.
Now you didn't know at the time it would be worth $50K, but like.
Right, but it's like a little bit of foresight, a little bit of belief.
All you had to do
just
was put
like,
a top hat in your name.
Yeah,
and I think I gave like a couple 100K chunks out.
I do the same. Like I
was like, I need to give all this out because we're never gonna get 1 million again.
Yeah.
Like my daily allowance is 15K, but today we could give 1 million. It's like,
yeah. And I mean, at this point, like degen is such a like I don't even know what to. Dude, if you wanted to tell me like it could be a top 25 token, like why not? Like
you can say like, it has a market cap of like
thousands of people who use it every day for tipping. Like it's, I don't know. I have no idea where it's gonna.
Are you fucking around with degen chain at all? Are you?
I got on, and dude, I
pulled a 2x on DUSD recently.
There you go, banger.
On Mint Club, yeah.
Mint Club is dope. Mint Club and Pump.Fun, both really cool.
Yeah, I think we will have better versions of them come out. I was actually talking to someone about that last night. Oh, yeah. But they're really fun.
Yeah, and so I got on degen chain. I put like 500,000 degen on, and I was like, okay, well, first of all, like, and I looked at the charts, and I was like, because so this is, I hit the bonk trade, and I was like, and I bag held it after all-time high, and BDB was just on Twitter just bashing my head in about like and like not me, but I just had to read his posts about the bonk soul chart.
Yeah.
And since I looked at the bonk soul chart, I've been more aware of my denominators. Mm-hmm. And so I deposited onto degen chain, and I bought degen ket, and Degen swap the Dex coin.
D-swap. Let's go.
That's the blue chip. That's
gotta
the
be.
S&P
If there is one, I mean, even though it's like, we're on the meme chain buying the DeFi coin. Like,
yeah, of course.
Idiot. But since then, I've been more aware of my denominator, and I looked at it, and I was like, Degen's just gonna rip, and this coin is gonna be worthless because like you can't even sell it back into ETH. You have to sell it back into Degen.
Everyone's buying Degen to go speculate on Degen chain.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? As soon as I did that, I instantly torched like half a million. Just because Degen went up, these went down. I was like, oh my god,
how could this happen?
Yeah, who could have ever seen this coming? And so after that, I was like, you know, I think I'm just gonna hold my Degen.
Yeah,
but yeah,
scarred. I don't even want to talk about it,
dude. No, I had like 10 million. And I sold it for a loss.
I had 30 million that I sold for a loss.
I had 20 million that I sold for a loss.
Nick Tamino put $1 million in OTC. I started buying that dip down from that local top, and I was like, oh, this is free money.
Literally.
2 weeks later, I'm bored.
And now he's up like 94 mil.
Yeah, 2 weeks later, I'm fucking bored, and I'm like, I'm down like 3 ETH on this position. Like, I'll just tax loss harvest it, sell the airdrop, and like, let me just maybe do something else with it. And then I sold it, and I kept it in ETH on base. Like, I did nothing with it. It just sat there as 17 ETH.
Yeah, it's like, what do you? Yeah. And so literally just before I came here, I sold the rest of my motherfucker.
I just sold motherfucker by yield.
I bought Degen.
I sold my motherfucker yesterday by whiff.
Andrew's a whiff. How do you feel about whiff?
Like, this is the three goofy. This is the two dragons, and then the goofy dragon. It's whiff, Degen, yield.
I'm the redacted retardio dragon.
Oh my god! He's got pickaxe in hand.
What do you feel about whiff versus bonk? Because from the outside looking in, I feel like whiff kind of killed bonk, but
I do too. And so there's like a level of bonk where it's similar to Degen, where it's like a utility meme coin.
Yeah.
Like because it's tied into BonkBot.
Yeah, I'm getting paid out.
But then there was
referral.
also that whole, and I didn't. It's like, this is like I was saying. It's like I just scroll my timeline most of the time. Like I can't be fucked to go look for the details on things. I'm content with the mystery of things. Like I'm like, and so there was that whole episode about how like there were like bonk seeders. Do you remember this?
No.
I don't know. Yeah, and it's like, well, yeah, and I'm not gonna rant on it too much
like
more.
Farmers,
than that. No, like investors. From before.
Got
like
you.
Allocation. And because that was an episode on Twitter for like a couple weeks, it was manlet on manlet crime, and I was like, guys, relax.
You guys are hurting each other.
Guys,
there's
only so much soil. Please.
Was this before or after Solana funds sold out because the bonk?
This was only like a month ago.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
this was
a month or 6 weeks.
So whiff was already over 50 cents.
Yeah, it was already competitive with bonk and market cap probably. But like, you know, the girl that I chat with sometimes likes the dog with the hat. I mean, it's like it's hard to argue with the dog with the hat.
Really,
I mean, he looks
picture.
he looks great.
And every time the price goes up, the picture gets cuter.
Is just Sol beta at this point?
Yes,
is that how you look
literally,
at it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like some days I look at it and I'm like, you know what? I think this might be macro beta.
Well, so I think I think that right now whiff is just the best meme coin, as far as like it has pretty decent distribution. It's funny. It's cute. It's recent. You can like tell yourself a narrative about it, and it like also just acts as Sol beta because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I just think that like, sorry, Solana projects. Most of the other tokens on Solana are dog shit. And so it's just like, when you have an outsized amount of Sol wealth that comes from, like, I think Solana will keep going up in price, that I think a lot of it will flow to whiff, because like, I don't know, are you going to buy fucking like wormhole token? Like, am I going to be allocating to more hole later this year? Like, I don't think so.
So, hole.
Yeah, I mean,
are we not calling it W? Are we not calling it W?
I
We're
refuse
calling
to
it
call
hole.
it W. To me, it's hole token.
I really like ticker W though.
Yeah,
But ticker. What about ticker W hole? Oh, I guess that would be.
I
whole.
guess that's just
That's whole.
That's whole.
Oh shit! Wait,
We could do that. Yeah, that could work. That could work. That could work.
that's the ticker.
Yeah,
When
that's
you were
the
saying
ticker.
whole, did you mean whole with WHOLE?
No.
Okay,
We're gonna have to
just
talk
whole.
to somebody from the team about adding HOLE onto the end
Yeah,
of this
whenever
ticker.
whenever I,
Wrapped hole.
whenever I see people make
Yeah. Like when Loomdart wrapped the pudgy penguins. Was that Loom? No, it was somebody else.
hole.
whenever I see people talk about wormhole and they call it hole, I just think of, if you guys ever watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, when they're doing the play and Danny DeVito's character misunderstands the line in the play and he goes, "If you got to pay the troll toll if you want that boy's hole."
Yep.
That's just all I think about with it.
Gotta pay the troll toll. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like, at this point, like, because I think Soul's just gonna, I don't know.
We all are
I'm in
bullish,
such
so.
a like people ask me things and I'm like, brother, I do not know. Like I have a tweet from like December where it's like I don't have price targets, expectations, rationality. I don't have any of this. All I have is tokens and I'm gonna hold on to them.
You got
Tokens and
the
vibes.
Kobe tweet that says, "We don't have valuations. We look for exit conditions
Yes, exactly.
that are optimal, and we take them."
Yes,
and I think like
that one's a GOAT one too. It's losers rebalance losers, and it's like somebody was talking about Kobe's like allocation pyramid
and
he
how
came
he-
back and was like, if you made a bet, and so he said, if you made a bet that was right, you're a lot better off trying to figure out what the actual optimal exit for that bet is versus like you shouldn't be getting concerned because your block graze and whiff is now 95% of your portfolio. Like that's exactly what you wanted to happen. Yeah. That's your winner.
Yeah.
And it's like you just have to think about like the market doesn't care about like your portfolio allocation. Like you just have to look for optimal exits. And it's like
it was
that's why
like with
I was
Bohm, you played Bohm really well. Where
Yeah,
you saw
and
the Binance
so-
listing. We were talking about selling.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and
high out of my
motherfucker, I was
mind,
hoping
like,
for.
bro,
I was
it's-
hoping that we went off more, but we didn't get it.
Bro,
And
it's gonna flip everything. Bro.
literally
The hat's coming off and the book is staying open.
And like because Intuito with that quote I read earlier, it's like he is like just a meme philosopher, literally. And like I take a lot of I like his stuff a lot. And it's like you have to be okay just like with motherfucker. Like I was like, okay, like we hit this like I bought it at like 10 million. Because I literally scrolled by it like twice and I didn't think it was Satoshi. And then I saw it the third time and I was like, wait, that's him. I need to go sell everything. Just
so I
pile
scrolled
into
by
this.
it, ignored it, and then someone put it in a group chat, and they're like, "Look at
was
this,"
like,
and I was like, "Whoa, wait! I saw that."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Wait, that's a."
And it's like back to like knowing when to take your swings. It's like for me, like I know when to take my swings because I have like an urgent call to the computer. I'm like, no, I need to press this button now.
Like you see the tweet and you see it hasn't even been an hour old.
Yeah.
And you
And
see
go,
it
go,
has
go,
like
go, go.
30,000
Go.
impressions. You're like, I need to act in the next 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Like
and
there's
I sent it to my buddies. I'm gonna wait for the dip. I'm like, I am
What
going
dip?
to make sure there isn't a dip for you.
And then I love retweeting it after I read it because it's like, hey
Yeah.
guys, you might like
No,
this
yeah, I
information.
just popped it into Farcaster. I just went, yep, I'll buy that.
Yeah, no, fair.
And so where was I? What was I going off on?
whiff and price targets and
Right, and
Optimal
it's like-
exits.
yeah, and so because I don't. Right now, like I couldn't tell you like what I think things are gonna do. Like hopefully, I'm just sitting here uncomfortable in my bags, just marinating, just waiting for the price to go up. That's
Yeah.
all. You know, once we get past this like 75K bullshit and just send it all up, it's like I need Sol and ETH all-time highs so that I don't feel like a crazy person. Because like until that happens, when we're in this little meandering, like pitter-pattering around between last cycle all-time high and like where we are, like this range gives everybody anxiety.
yeah, and everyone like waits for, if there's a bad 6 hours, half the timeline is like
Yesterday.
And it's
Yeah.
like, see you at 52K.
Yesterday
like,
was
yesterday.
horrible.
My new thing is just whenever that starts happening, I long. I just
Dude,
I
yeah.
open up more longs.
And people are like, oh, I'm looking for $150 Solana. I'm like, so's everybody else.
yeah, I don't think you're getting it, buddy.
If you think it's gonna go to $400 and you can enter at 180 or 150, like
Yeah. And it's like it goes back to these same types of things. And I think because I have one tweet that's like, you just have to know who is playing what game. And because it's like, I think something that people will stress themselves out with is like, they're reading stuff from like Pool 2 Poly, and it's like, bro, we're talking about like 0.1 percenters here, brother. Like you do not try to emulate like that. No, don't do it. You're gonna have a bad time.
They're reading the Keyboard Monkey tweet where he's short for 6 minutes,
right?
While
Exactly.
He's in the bathroom,
yeah,
and they're like, "Oh my
like,
god, I need to sell."
Right,
it.
and it's like you just have to understand like a lot of these guys are playing a far different game than me. Like I know what game I'm playing. I buy things and then I go live life.
Did you know
check on them.
that you were playing that game in 2021, or how did you come to know that this is the game that I can play?
Right.
Versus
so
like, here's the games I'm
and
FOMOing
so this is
over.
a good learning lore for people because it's like, so yeah, in December 2021 or maybe January 22, I had run up, and so I started with like $500 on chain, and I jump into the one. Start slinging shit at NFTs. Like we were just sitting on icy.tools, like hot mints, like literally 24/7.
Icy tools.
Like I
man,
had it
forgot about
on.
Icy tools.
I had it on my work desktop, like just on a monitor constantly, and like it gets to that point where the icy tools was our photon. That was my photon new pairs, and so it's like for me, like I was in there, and you're just when you're new, you don't have the intuition to see what you're swinging at, and then you just start swinging too much. And so I ran it up. I got an anonymice, and then I ran it through the re-roller, and I got one of the radioactive ones. I sold it into a 12 ETH bid like instantly. And so we were like,
it's a huge come up.
It was like a month, and we went from like $500 to like 40K. And I still remember sitting on my couch, and I was just like, "What the actual fuck?"
It's real.
Yeah, and so
I feel like everyone has that moment.
Yeah,
in crypto where
and
you're
so
like,
I put 10 grand in
holy
my
shit.
bank account, and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
It was actually real. I thought it was a scam.
It went through.
I was like,
I can use that to pay my credit
I
card.
can use that. That's real money.
You guys ever see the posts on Reddit of people who are like, I want to cash out crypto for the first time. Am I able to?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
how does
yes.
this work?
Someone Tolk said his mom, like, I think somebody told me they were like, their mom asked him if Bitcoin could be turned into real money, and he was like, yeah, that's the point.
I was paying a drug dealer in ETH when it was under $2,000.
Classic.
And
Do you think he forgot about that? Or
no. She reached out to me when it went up, and she's like, "I need to make a trip to go see my family. How do I sell this? I have no idea."
Hell yeah.
Because I had set her up a
Here you go,
rainbow,
queen.
set her up a rainbow wallet. Like literally, imagine you're networking with somebody, and you're like, "Yeah, I don't have cash, but like I'll actually pay you in something, and I'll give you a premium, and
Yeah.
it could go up."
No, yeah. Last week I went to Ultra, and my buddy who I was staying with had an extra VIP ticket, and he was like, and I was like, okay, let me get that. And he was like, I don't know, it's selling for like 1,400. And I was like, okay, how about I send you 5 Solana? You don't go through the Facebook marketplace and want to Uber Eats a bullet sandwich for this, and we just call it a day. He was like, yeah, absolutely.
Did he have to set up a Solana wallet to accept it?
No,
or?
he has one.
Okay, so he's
yeah.
already in.
And so after Anonymize, us just NFTs.
Did you hit toads? That was around toads.
Yes, I did hit a toad. After Anonymize, I rolled it into a toad. Bag held that down.
Oh, you bought.
I bought it at like 2, and then I wrote it up
To 15,
and then down
yeah.
to 8.
Still a nice win.
Yeah. And so we were just kind of stacking up, like getting like small ones in. And then I got Neo Tokyo Season 2. And it was like...
Were you following Becker and Elio?
It was the most annoying thing in the world. And dude, I would qualified for Neo Tokyo Season 1, but I was in Group 6. And that was the only day of like that entire year that anybody at work tried to teach me anything. And they were like, and it was like my coworker who's like, he's a bit in himself. And he's like, and so I'm like on my phone, like trying to look at this thing. He's like, hey, you paying attention here? And I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, I'm in Group 6,
No,
bro.
I'm not.
I got-
And then I missed it, and I was like, you know how much money you just got me? Didn't actually say that, but
But you were thinking it.
yeah,
Oh, for
absolutely.
sure.
And so I got Season 2, and it was so weird. You like sent 1 ETH like to a wallet, and everybody was like, "Is he hacked? Like, are we getting rugged right now?" And I'm like, "I'm okay with getting rugged if I get rugged." And then
Gotta
so I
be.
got that back, and that went like those were worth like 80K like before. And so I was waiting. He was doing like more pieces and this, that, the other thing, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait until I get these next pieces. I'm gonna dump this. And I remember like the day that my portfolio hit like 250K of like giga liquid evaluation. Because I had small brains, and so those were huge. Those were worth like 100K or something. Like
Yeah, that was
set.
ridiculous.
Wait, the Arbitrum smalls?
Yeah.
Yeah, those pumped serious.
Yeah, crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Well, dude, because that's
They went
when-
to 100?
Dude, those treasure legions were the magic.
I had a treasure legion at one point that was worth a lot of fucking
dude, and
money.
I think you tried a Legion. Tell
dude,
me,
because
someone did.
everybody in the one, because End was in there, and then we had a couple like 5 or 6 others who hit like 7 figures off those legions, and it
That's
got
why
to
they
the
were trying to
point-
get me to buy.
Yeah, Moon had never bought, and Moon never bought when it was cheap, and like he was like no, and one day he just goes, no more treasure talk at NFT General, and he makes a treasure channel. He's like, fuck off, I don't want to read it.
I love that.
And I was like, that's the most beautiful form of cope I've ever seen.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, it's like, get this out of my face.
I don't want to hear about what I
And
missed.
so, yeah, and I remember sending a message to the Discord that was like the first Discord, the second, it was like the one and this one with my brother and my buddy. And I was like, dude, like, we're like 250K. And my buddy, who has been in it since like 2017, genuinely straight out of the margin call scene where the guy's like, sell it all today.
Right now. Liquidate
And
it.
I looked at him and I was like, oh, sweetie, you don't understand NFTs. You do not understand NFTs.
I've been here
and
for 4
very
months.
genuinely, within the next 2 weeks, it was minus 60%. Just bang. Bang. And so from there, like, and it's like, it feels weird to say it still, but it's like, dude, I was just fucking gambling away all my money.
Yeah.
Like, very
that's how you
genuine.
made it.
Yeah. But it's like, there are conditions in which to do it, and there are conditions in which not to.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
Exactly. That's how you learn. But it's like, I remember, I was in like a absolute portfolio free fall until Other Side. And I was literally,
like a 6-month.
Dude, my transaction was literally going to fail, and Moon sent me 1 ETH and saved my ass because it would have just taken all my ETH.
It would have failed
And taken
burned
all
your
my
ETH.
ETH. Yeah. And I hit a coda.
Did you sell it immediately?
Yeah.
was like 20
after
plus?
the reveal, it was like 22.
Dude, I
ETH or
fucking held a
something.
coda.
Yeah.
I sold it on Magic
You poor
Eden for
fuck.
2 ETH.
Ugh.
I hate myself.
You're gonna
Anyway.
get so many diamonds for that though.
Oh yeah, bro. That airdrop
yeah,
was
and
sick.
so-
Anyway, hit the coda. That's
Right.
huge.
So it's like we're up, we're down, we're back up. I found a way to gamble all that away again. Like I remember like sitting at my work desk in like, it must have been like June 22, maybe later. And I was just like buying I was like buying like 20% of the supply of some random ass Melody NFT. And I was like, this is the one. This is the one. And
it's like a schizo posters derivative.
Yeah. No, they weren't even good ones. And it's like, because now I look at it and like I see my friends doing that in the new pairs on Photon. And I'm like, brother, you're forcing the swing here. I can tell you, I've forced the swing before. It's not fun. You're just swinging in nothing.
It's not a good pitch.
You're not gonna hit it. And like, that's like I always say, like there are lessons that can be learned, there are lessons that can be taught, and there are some that have to be learned. And it's like for most people, you have to do the gambling on the downside to learn, because like these are not normal things. I tweeted this like 2 days ago. It's like these are not normal human things to wake up and boom, there's a salary off a made up token. Like brother.
Yeah, your airdrop all of a sudden was your yearly salary.
Like you don't have to beat yourself up over having a crazy reaction to that. That's not something with a historical precedent. Okay?
No.
Like you can't go listen to a history podcast about this. It doesn't exist.
In ancient
I
Rome,
don't
they
think
were
anyone
just-
on My First Million is like,
No,
I woke up and I was airdropped $100,000.
yeah,
in
my
tokens.
brother literally
My
calls
first
me on
million.
Bone Day. He's like, dude, look at your phone. I'm like, why are you calling me? Like, I'm not late to work. What the fuck? And it's just like, and it's like, that's the thing. Like, people are so like, dude, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an idiot. We're all idiots. Like, stop have to be more than that.
Well, I said that to Fungible when he was on earlier this week. We were talking about the BOEM thing. He was like, "Oh yeah, I only put in 3 soul because I'm an idiot." And I was like, "No, anyone who put in any soul is an idiot, and that's why it worked."
Right.
That's the only reason it worked out.
And like, yeah, it's definitely, that's one of the things that I think is basically just like the most important thing to like be successful, because once you can pull your fucking head out of the Photon new pairs and go to like the Smiles Discord, where I randomly, when I was in the Smiles Discord, like I would just go and hang out with the frogs, and Batsu was in there. And so this is summer fall 22, and he minted his geometric Pepes.
Those crush.
Yeah. And so I bought one for like 0.11 ETH, like just off auction, just to support an artist friend. And now last week, one sold for 50K a BOEM. And it's like, these are the opportunities that you are never going to see if you're only chasing like the money. Like, you need to go just do something that you like, whatever it is, and figure out what that angle is.
Yeah.
Make a friend. Like, these are the events that happen here are serendipitous. It's just you know, and Bill Monday and Monad always say, you just need to maximize your luck surface.
Well, I think like a big thing around that as well, like definitely maximizing luck surface, and like, you know, everything in life is luck, but like it's just how often you put yourself in a position to get lucky.
Yeah.
But I think too, the other thing that you're hitting on that is really important, and I think all 3 of us have experienced this in different pockets of crypto, is like, you have to be the top 0.0001% to whatever the current thing is.
Yeah.
Be able to actively trade that current thing better than the market.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, if you want to hit it on meme coins, like sure, maybe you'll be the one who snipes the $50,000 market cap, and God bless you. I know that's not me. And so it's like, I'll just buy some whiff and see what happens, and I'll ride it out and just kind of play the market. But I think what you can, and has time and time again outperformed the market, is being curious and being open-minded and finding things that people aren't actively speculating on, spending all their time on, and just being open to those things, and then putting yourself in a position where you're experimenting all these different things, and then something takes off and you just happen to be there because you thought it was interesting.
Andy with Top Shot.
Yeah, like, literally.
Andy's like, I like the cards.
Right. And it's like, and like, I think there's a lot of like there's so much like bravado energy in crypto, and it's like everybody is just like, they're, you know, it's just so male slanted, and it's just so like, oh, I'm gonna gamble more than you. And it's like, fucking cool, dude. Like,
congrats.
I did that. I just gave you the rant about how I lost all my money doing that. You have fun. And like, yeah, it's like, that's the thing that you see it click for people too. Like I can see it like with my friends like now, and it's like, and they're like, oh, like I should probably just like spend some time fucking trolling in the Monad Discord. And it's like, dude, like this morning, one of my buddies from the Monad Discord messaged me and was like, dude, like I just got this wormhole drop, like it's fucking like life changing. Like I don't know where he lives. It's like somewhere that's a fucking lot of money.
Did they get like 16K or some shit? Or
8K for Nad's roll.
So that's
like 12 grand.
Yeah. And
it's a lot of money for anyone, even in America. It's a lot
for
of
a
money.
Discord roll.
Yeah.
That's not even like
No,
you did
and it was
anything on
just-
chain. It was like you were in Discord.
Vibing.
Yeah. And it's like, I think Monad is another great rant. Cause they're really something else. Like,
We're fans.
Yeah, because I got in there. I don't even remember how. Like, somebody asked me how, and I was like, I don't know. Like, because I heard through the grapevine, and it was like, oh, this is Kobe's new investment. It's like Solana and ETH had a baby, and this is like December 22, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in. Like, let me weasel my way in there. And so somehow I weaseled my way in there, and Bill's the best. And so he was always like, yo, come hang out like on the landline. And I remember it was like April 23. And so we're like dead. Like nothing going on in the market.
It was right before we closed the company.
Yeah. And it's like, I remember sitting around with him and like a bunch of people who are now like, some of them have become like community guys for Monad,
like
or
Danny.
like for other projects. Yeah. Like Danny and Benads and like them, like, and it was just, I've never been involved like with an L1 or even like really many kinds of projects on that level of commitment. Because like I said with the one, it's like I've always grown up, you know, I was raised in my own Discord where I can talk my own shit, you know? And so it's like I never got super into any project Discords. The only one that I would ever talk in was Smells. And it's like Dark Farms is like you know, he's not a boss. He's kind of like me with Reply Guys. He's like, yeah, this is like a thing. Like, you guys figure it out. Yeah. And most of the community like figures it out.
Hands off.
Yeah.
Meme.
And it's mostly
treat other
like,
people how you want to be treated. Good
right.
vibes.
It's mostly like Augur just figuring it out in the Dark Farms Discord. And so, but Monad, it's like they had and they still do, like they have a community vibe that is not like that I hadn't ever seen at that level of.
They don't even have tokens.
Right.
And they don't have a platform.
Yeah.
But they have a community of people who care about what they're building.
Have you ever seen the like meme archive?
No. So in the Monad Discord,
huge.
I'm a fucking investor in Monad, and I don't have a role in the Discord.
Oh, I can give you a role.
I go in and I'll bitch in the newbie chat and then like post a Pepe meme and then close it. But yeah, no, I'm not in there because like I can only see.
I'm gonna go give you the trash
newbie
roll.
chat, and then there's like the creative one.
Yeah.
And then there's like 3 things.
Yeah.
But I like that. I kind of like that. I'm like, yeah,
right,
you
he's
guys
like, no,
didn't give. You guys. Yeah, never mind. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm curious. You have a full-time job as well. What's it gonna? Have you thought about leaving and doing full-time crypto stuff? Have you talked about
I'm pretty
that?
close. Yeah. I'm pretty close. We're gonna see how bonus season looks and then see where things go. Just because like my line lately has just been like there are very few people who have a thing that keeps them out of bed at night and gets them out of bed in the morning, and there are far fewer people who are capable of actually doing that to put food on their table. And it's like, okay, like if I have that and I'm capable, like what the fuck am I doing? Like you're kind of just a bitch if you don't do it. And so it's like I'm at that point, and so I'm hopefully later this year we'll see.
It's a shift. Like when the company closed down and I didn't have a day-to-day that I had to do for you know, reasons that I didn't control. It takes like a level of discipline and routine, and it took me a few months to really transition from like, I don't have these calls and like I don't have this responsibility of being on Discord all the time, and I don't need to like be worrying in the back of my head about what if it gets exploited and we gotta fix it. And now it's like I have more of a routine. It's like I wake up at a similar time, I eat the same breakfast.
What's for breakfast?
3 eggs and protein bagel. So it's just like super like 10 minutes. I drink fucking Balin got me on these Magic Mind drinks. It's like some agave bullshit. You supplement with caffeine, or you can take it without caffeine.
One of those fake ass science.
Yeah,
coffees.
It's like a small little thing.
Huge fan. I post those all the time.
Anything where I can throw in another $4 a day.
Yeah. It's
and
like
just like. Oh yeah, I got this.
Instagram advertisers fucking love me.
Yeah,
I just got myself off of the AG1 scam.
Chad,
it's like, you know,
I'm still on the Factor meal plan scam.
So I do support the meal plan stuff because I feel like that we were on one of those for a while. Same vibe. Right. I think like depending on where you're at in life and like what you're doing, it's so much better than ordering in.
Oh, for sure.
And if you're just not in a place where you are going to be cooking yourself meals, then it is 100%. Like that's of all the ones, like, yeah, you're going to be paying a premium or whatever. But one, to a certain extent, you can pretty easily track your macros.
Yeah.
Pretty easily track your calories. And it's just easy.
Turn it into a health pod.
Hey, I think as you go down the route of being self-employed or working for yourself, like, that stuff you have to take seriously.
Yeah.
For better or worse. It's like you have to be the best person in yourself so that you can execute for yourself and your family.
I'm taking all these fucking vitamins now.
I need to do that. I need to go to the doctor. I haven't been to the doctor since
So I recently...
I've been putting off a blood draw for 6 months now. Because I pass out when I get fucking needles in me.
Same, actually.
As soon as I see my skin get punctured, I like turn white.
Bring like an eye mask and go to sleep. But yeah, I recently did like a full like blood test and working with like a doctor, and they like, not like I had anything crazy wrongly, but like one testing like hormone levels and stuff because I was open to like TRT or anything like that. I didn't need it, thankfully. But then like doing a bunch of stuff like along those lines.
Yeah,
and, like, I mean
that's the thing is like because we're getting to the point where it's like once you get, it's like your hierarchy of needs. It's like I'm just gonna. It's dope to have the bottom ones taken care of, and then you're like trying. Now I'm just like kind of in the process of figuring out the top ones.
How are you gonna self-actualize?
I don't know. Reply guys.
You'll figure it out.
All right, wait. So back to leaving for potential crypto full-time stuff. You're thinking about it. Is there like a type of thing that you've thought about where you're like, oh, this is what I'd want to do, or would you want to be like, if you were to leave your job, would you want to be full-time like degen, self-employed? Would you want to go work for a crypto company?
It'd just be me. And I mean, but like that's kind of the dream, like with page one, and to get like we'll probably re-enter the newsletter rant after this, because like I have enough things. Like I have a notes app of like 2 years of ideas that haven't had time to work on, because it was either life or this, that, the other thing, and it's like we've also set up like we built page one in a very self-sufficient way. Like there's nobody who can tell us what we can post. There's nobody who can tell us that we have to post now or whatever. And it's like, we didn't ever ask anybody for plugs, this, that, the other thing. Moon plugged us because he's a man. But like that has always been very important to me. Just like, if I want to fuck off, like, I'm going to fuck off.
You want the optionality. We talked about this in DMs.
Yeah.
Like, page one is the only crypto subscription thing that I read.
Dude, Tolk still kills it, and we need to get back on the ball, but
it's fucking hard. I'm on newsletter article 3, and it's like I'm going up to a wall, and I'm just like banging my fucking head off the wall. And I'm curious, like, how is your writing process? Are you somebody who does voice memos and dictates an outline? Or are you somebody who just like sits down in focus mode?
I'm Hunter S. Thompson. You sit down. I sit my ass down for fucking 12 hours. And it's like, no, we're going to finish 90% of this right now or else it's not going to get done.
Are you like are you able to compartmentalize, like, I'm not going to check Twitter, Discord, my phone?
Absolutely fucking not.
No?
And so we'll actually get into this one. And so page one, we started newsletter January 22. I'm writing weekly NFT recaps. And it's like back to systems of information collection, like when I was maintaining this. And so I wrote from January 2022 to April 2023. And then I was just like, dude, like, and so this, so I had like a system to track all this stuff. Like I had people that I'd go make sure that I like saw what they were looking at. I was marking, I was in the habit of copy pasting and tossing into a Discord channel for things that I might want to go look at. And so it's like, let's say that I was publishing on a Monday, and like I tried to keep it consistent when I was in the thick of it, like for these 16 months, because this was like, I didn't have a following when I started that. Like we didn't have shit. And it was just always just free good info. And because like I started it because there wasn't anybody who was doing it. Like the only people who were doing NFT info at that time were so cringe. And it's like, they're just trying to sell you like you're just trying to sell you up a creek. And it's like,
try to sell you a sponsored mint that they got paid.
Tell you that this thing is like the next glory of God. And it's like, absolutely not. And so I just built what I wanted, what I would have wanted when I started. And so it was like, it was news and notes, recent launches and upcoming launches. And so each one would just be, and so this is why, because now I've shifted towards writing more like essayists.
Yeah. You're much more long form.
Which I like a lot better, honestly. But like, part of writing page one was like synthesizing information and providing like enough context to what's going on, while also like when I was writing page one, I had a much different voice than on Twitter. And it's like, because on Twitter, that's my voice. Like in page one, it's like I was trying to give you information. And like, that's one of the things that I'll yell about as well, is like, are you giving people, like, am I reading information or am I reading interpretation? Because like I just want, like, just give me food. Like, I do not need a baby bird into my mouth. Like, I will chew it myself. And that's how you should be thinking of like facts and information, is like, what is this guy chewing and fucking spitting into my mouth right now? Or is he serving me food? Like, and so it's like, I would always try to fucking serve you information. And it's like, when I needed to bring in a subjective opinion, like, I would do that by linking it to a tweet from somebody else. And it's like, and so it's a very different style of writing than what I do now. And because in that period between when I stopped and now, I like just kept yapping on Twitter. And then, you know, my bits kind of became more formed and this, that, the other thing. But what was I gonna say? Oh, and because, so yeah, when I was writing page one, I would be collecting information throughout the week, and then I would go sit down, and I would most literally usually stay up all night, just pull an all-nighter and go to work the next day. And like, I would usually post it literally either at my desk at work, like at 8 a.m. or like right before I went to work.
That's a hellish schedule.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so like, it got to the point where like, we were in April and there was just jack shit going on. And I was like, boss, I'm fucking tired. And
you're like, every week this is now tedious. And like, there's nothing exciting. Right.
And so you get to the point, like, and I talked to because I know a lot of newsletter guys. I've talked to a lot of writers, but in the last 2.5 years, and it's like, everybody gets to the point where they're their own worst critic. And it's like, and because I was at a point where I was stressing myself out. Just me in my own head. And it's like, no, I need to get this done. And it's like, you don't. It's okay if you don't.
No one's gonna show up to your house and like,
yeah. And it's like, eventually, I just kind of stopped writing, and like, the world kept spinning, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, I just probably shouldn't beat myself up as much. But I am definitely like, stylistically, I prefer to sit down and finish it, because I'm not like a bits and pieces. And I mean, but those are things that like, if I didn't have work, it'd probably be different, but we'll see. I still very much enjoy like just sitting down and banging it out, because it's like, for my most recent like essay rants, I would literally just like, I have these, because I have the main idea, and it's like, I know what I want to say. And most of the time I wouldn't even use an outline. Cause you know, it's like, I always think about like my, my like AP Lang teacher, who was like, cause literally I have 2 teachers who I still credit with like me having a knowledge of like logical fallacies and how to write and blah, 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 all these things. Yeah. I'm like, I'm sorry, no. I'm just gonna sit down and bang this out. And then once it's finished, I will go and like move paragraphs around. I'm like, oh, does this sound best here or here? And then I send it to Bovin and Tolks, and they're like, you should change this, you should change this. And I'm like, brother, up all night, okay? Not changing shit. Check for typos.
Yeah.
I'm not changing shit. Yeah. I have a hard time if I don't give myself a deadline. Like, that's what I found.
Yeah.
But if I give myself a deadline, I don't feel like what I'm putting out is as high of quality. So it's like this ebb and flow. It's like, I probably want to put out something once a month or so is kind of the cadence that comes out to be.
See, and so I'm of the opinion by now that like, it's just better to ship. Like, especially as a writer, it's like it doesn't have
like
to be
a diary
perfect.
Entry.
Yeah.
Do the Rick Rubin.
I think it's kind of true with almost anything that you put out. Is like,
just do it.
80% done is better than never.
Yeah. And like, because there's always going to be more you could do. Like for me, it's like, I go back and read things and I'm like, oh, God, who let me post that?
But you get better. And then people in the aggregate, in the long term, are only going to remember your like top 3 things.
Yeah.
Or top 5 things.
And like,
and all the other shit, it's like when you think of some of the biggest musicians in the world, you think of like their best album, or you think of their top 5 songs. You don't think of like the B track.
Because it all comes together just over time, and it's like, because nowadays people still have like, I feel like people still have this association of me as like, you know, I used to give you the news in a way that, you know, my voice was removed from it, and it's like, I also think people like me just because I'm very open about like, no, I'm an idiot. Like, you know, it's like
we all are.
Yeah, and it's like if you want to pretend that you're not, like that's fine. You'll probably underperform. But yeah, and so if I quit, like it's just gonna be more page one, more reply guys.
Yeah. At your day job, I don't know if you can talk about what you do, but do you think it sounds like it might help you with the trading side of things because you have exposure to that on the commodity side, or no?
Not really.
No.
Because I mean, well, in some ways. And it's like, I would say that one thing that's helped me is like just being around people who are just so high level on like, have more knowledge about our job than in their pinky finger than I have in my brain. I'm like,
They
and they're
eat,
just
breathe,
like,
think,
and
sleep.
they're just like pulling things out of their ass they instantly know. And I'm like, where do you even find that out? Like, I don't even know. And it's just like an appreciation for the depth of expertise. And it's given me more comfort with knowing that I don't know. And it's like, I think that that's one of the things that like there's a fine line between comfort with uncertainty and like being an idiot, like just straight up, like not doing the research.
Yeah.
And it's like, you should be able to do the research, but like at the same time, sometimes I'll say to friends, I'm like, I'm not going to fully research that one because I don't think I want to know.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Just want to keep it in there. What is there anything right now that you feel like attention in this space is very fickle? Is there anything right now that you feel like is just going completely overlooked, or people? Is there any like contrarian take you have that is, you know?
I don't know. I mean, I think because I didn't even have enough conviction on DGen, but like just base in general.
Yeah.
It's hard for me not to see the Western Man's BSC coming to life, especially with like the on-chain wallet and stuff. But I don't think that's very contrarian.
No, it was contrarian in February.
Yeah, like, and it's like, and that's the thing is like straight to my head, big head over here. Like I've just been kind of right for like 6 months, and I'm like, I don't know, like bought a bunch of Sol right. like last summer, like just sat in Sol in Jito, like blah blah blah, this that the other thing, and then moved to hit the bonk trade, and it's like that's another thing. Like I like the meme coin trading. It's like it's kind of funny just because like you can see it in people like when they haven't hit the 10x before, and then they do it, and they're like looking at it, and they're like, dude, I'm losing a Ford F-150 and then I'm gaining 2 like every half an hour, and I'm like, yeah, you should stop looking at that.
You should stop looking at that.
You don't need to be looking at that. No,
you're not pulling up Xerion.
Believe in what you. It's like just no, and it's like I think that's another thing. Is like I've gotten much better at like not looking at my stuff. Like I'm like whatever. But contrarian stuff, like I don't. It's been a crazy ass month for me. Like I've just been so out of the trenches. Like after Bohm. And then, because it was literally just boom. And then last week I went to Miami Music Week, and I get home.
MFer?
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'll buy this. And now I'm like, okay, sweet. Like, cool.
You're early. What, going back to like, I guess, where the fuck was I going to go with this? I had a question related to the meme coin stuff. And now I just completely lost my train of thought. How did you get in ordinals? You're in ordinals, obviously.
Yeah, but I was fading them, like, and so because that happened, like, in one of the last page one recaps I wrote, I discussed ordinals and like 12-fold.
12-fold.
That's like one of the most hilarious outcomes possible.
It was very foreseeable.
Oh yeah,
like. It wasn't contrarian to say at the time that these people were going to lose money.
I want to meet the guys who bid on those and just give them a pat on the back.
I want to show them my puppets. Be like, you bid this much on this?
And so...
This is going to 0 too. You're going to like this.
Yeah, and so I was aware... But I was fading. Like I was being... And so that's like kind of when I logged off, because April, I basically like logged off for the summer. We were calling it no screen summer.
No screen summer.
And
it's good summer to take off.
Yeah, it was dope. I did some traveling and stuff, just hung out, and it's like, I really think that like, because like the pivot from that level of stress that I was putting on myself when I was writing Page One Weekly into like, okay, like no, let's just not
dead.
Let's just not be stressed. And it's like, let's just choose not to.
I can choose not to do this weekly obligation that I put on myself.
The Pepe meme, just don't. And it's like, okay, yeah, good. But I think that that's one of the things that has given me like the most benefit in my trading and like my shit posting and blah, 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 this, that, the other thing. It's like, I just I do what I'm going to do. The rest can just, there's too much out there to be stressed out about. BitGet Wallet's cat coin that launched this morning, and my buddy hit a 20x on instantly, and I'm like,
Dude, did you see that?
Talking about?
No, my buddies are still talking about making a 40x on Hobbs while I hosted 2 podcasts.
Yeah. I'm sitting there yesterday, dude. Me and Tokes came home yesterday, and he's like, "Am I crazy for wanting to buy Anselm's cat?" I'm like,
no.
And like,
you're a genius, dude.
But where were we going?
I don't know, but I do have another question. Are you farming any points, and are there any points that you... we talked about Blast, and that you're not farming Blast, but are you farming anything on Solana? Are you farming anything on other protocols that you think is going overlooked? Because I feel like right now...
There's definitely going to be some.
There's 50 plus farming.
And so, honestly, I do feel like Blast is... And it's like, I hate when I do this, because I'll do this like on the timeline, and I'll talk myself into something, and I'll tweet it, and then I'll reply and be like, "Oh my god, I don't own any of this. What am I doing? Like, why am I saying
that's really
this?"
Smart. You're like, wait.
It's like, I should fill my bag first. But like, the fact that like Jezebel specifically like is so bullish on like Blast, and it's like at some point, the fact that we're just running on staked ETH is going to come into play. Like, that is going to get priced in eventually in some way, shape, or form, in a way that's like, that's very unique versus other chains.
I actually think my like hot take is Blast is actually also real world asset beta because of Maker, because of USDB. So USDB is based on Maker's DSR, and like Maker is doing all this stuff with Ethna, and it like is based on, and they have a bunch of real world asset stuff. And so like, I think that people will over time, as someone who's actively building something,
right.
One of the things that we've thought about is how do we capitalize with like user deposits and things on yield.
Right.
And when the yield is native like that, it sounds so fucking stupid, but it is actually way easier.
Yeah.
And just the small step of we now have to take every deposit and deposit it into Maker or deposit it into whatever is like seriously fucking annoying.
And it's also, that's also like a level of smart contract risk that is pushed to a team versus on the chain. And so one of the things that I would always say about like when I was writing Page One, and it's like, because I was in the, I'm writing about, I was looking for like 15 projects a week. And then just going in, and it's like, okay, let me figure out who the founders are, what's their thing, blah, 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 who invested, this, that, the other thing. And at some point, like, you're writing about projects like with the knowledge that they're probably not going to be around in like 3 months, And it's like, should I even tell people about this? And it's like, actually, yes, because like it's partially a historical archive. Like, you can go back and read through Page One and learn a lot. And it's like one of the things that I always tell people, and every once in a while I jumped on a call with a team who was building something, and I told them this, and I was like, "Ooh, wait, that was..." And so
I gave them too good of info.
No, I always say that like you don't have to like revolutionize the world to be like a successful project. Like, at the end of the day, like, you should be able to take pride in what you did if you did one singular thing that is iterative on the next that somebody else down the line can use. And it's like, that is enough to call yourself successful, because otherwise you're just reskinning. And it's like, okay, cool, but like, did you do something new? And it's like, are we moving the ball forward in any way, shape, or form here? And so I told that to a team, and I was like, oh wait, that sounds bad.
You were like, I'm kind of shitting on you because you're just doing something that's already been done.
But it's like, and it was like a crowded market. I know, like, but Kobe said the same thing about Echo the other day, and it's like he was like, Echo is new and will probably fail, but hopefully it's a productive failure. Cheers, Tim.
Cheers.
What a goat. And like the productive failure, it shouldn't be your goal, but like it's pretty likely.
Yeah.
And so you should at least be looking to do something that's the next guy can be like, okay, wait, like if you think of every project as just an experiment and a case study, and it's like, okay, let me put this together. Like, I'm going to take this bullshit from Wizards and Dragons and this bullshit from Raid Party, and I'm going to put a different skin on it. And it's like, oh, this, that, the other thing. Like, that moves you forward. And I think Blast is going to have things going on because the yield is an incredible. You just throw that into so many things, and it makes it a different ballgame in new and unpredictable ways. And then similarly, Farcaster and Frames. I don't think that we haven't reached. We're barely scratching levels that are interesting.
It's like Mint, Read.
We're still figuring out.
Check.
We're still figuring out basics, and it's like eventually we're gonna get to like interesting, like. Because there's a guy who's building a frame that like collects reviews for Web3 games, and it's like so you can leaf through and read the reviews, and then you can rate them as well. Like so you can submit a rating.
Gotcha.
And it's
so
like,
then it's filtered by is this an accurate rating?
And then there's another guy who's got a frame that you can deploy a token in one click. You click the frame, deploys the token.
Just what we need.
Metal's stuff is really cool.
Metal. Yeah. I was just talking. I just had a beer with him the other day.
Can we put
John's
a good guy.
Pump.fun in a frame.
So I actually have an idea for that. Yeah. Mint Club is kind of getting there, and I think like we were talking about this literally with our last podcast guest, saying how like I think that we will eventually have like billion-dollar companies that don't have app websites; they just are frames. And I think like Pearl is kind of an example of that.
What price is the fully diluted market cap of Degen in this scenario where we have billion-dollar apps that are just frames?
Lower because Farcaster token is out and base token is out, and so people
that's interesting.
People have moved on from Degen. I believe in Farcaster token.
We believe in Dan. Dan's the man.
Dan built an app specifically geared towards non-financialization.
Of course he's going to release
Give me a token. But yeah, and then I'm excited to see Friend Tech version 2. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. There's this, I don't want to call it Friend Tech on Blast, but...
District 1,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't gotten into that one.
Dude, you are in a Discord called The One, and you write an article called Page One, and now there's an app called District 1, and you're fading it?
I haven't gotten on Blast yet.
Bro,
I tried, and they were doing like they wanted my Discord, and they wanted me to do this, that, the other thing, and the boys were like, "Oh, use Orbiter," and then Rainbow didn't have Blast.
I have a ref link with your name on it.
I had to get my
I will
MetaMask.
manually bridge it for you. You can send me ETH, and I'll send you Blast ETH.
Don't do that. It's a bad trade. Cause
you actually get paid more.
You get positive slippage to bridge to Blast right now.
Yeah, like I just bridged 5 ETH, and I got 5.1 ETH.
Like I'm gonna have to get over there and do something. I've just been so lazy lately. Like after, I'm in my complacent couple weeks here. Like I feel like I just need.
Sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
I have deja vu from the Blur first season where like it was more than people expected it to be.
Yeah.
And then the second season was like more farmed. Like I feel like Blast is gonna be the same. Like this first season of Blast Gold.
Yeah.
People are gonna be like, whoa, wait, they were giving out $1.5 billion?
And when people like me aren't fully aware of it, it's like there's alpha.
So I can say this now because by the time this comes out, it will no longer matter. So like IKB, the app that I'm making, we were given $10 million of Blast Gold, and we at that time had 60,000 total dollars of transactions at that point. And so we were given just so much.
God, I need to get back in there.
Apps. Like the issue on Blast is there's so much shit that came through the Big Bang that wasn't properly like vetted or like Munchables. Great example.
I wonder how much black
those
gold
poor fuckers.
how much black gold does North Korea have?
So it's kind of like, we know IKB is reputable and they're doing something that there's no competition. Like there's multiple lending platforms. There's multiple places you can swap. There's only one place where you can go bet on fantasy sports.
Yeah.
And like now the volume every day, what is it? Like 30K plus?
Oh yeah. Yesterday,
that's awesome.
Yesterday we had like 60K.
I need to get back in there.
So people are just like, there's an idea that maybe even if you lose on every slip, that you would actually maybe make money.
Yeah.
I think almost everyone, even if they lose, is making money.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it feels too good. It's like if you went to Vegas and you were at a slot machine and each roll was $1, but then they were giving you like $1.50 of fantasy bucks that you could redeem next month to play.
It's like my buddy who's always gambling on the app, and he's like, bro, $100 free bet tonight. I'm like, hey buddy. I'm like, hey, those are algorithmic, motherfucker. Those are just for you. It's probably because you're losing. Okay, stop telling me about your bonus bet. I don't have one. Those are just for you.
$100 free bet, bro.
I'm like, stop bragging. You're telling us about your losses.
Yeah, but I think comparing it to Blur is a good example. I know there's got to be more stuff. I think like going back to base stuff. I'm sure you have bought any on-chain Gaias.
Yes, I bought like 20, and then
you were early to.
Yeah, and then I literally, when MFR came out, I shipped 4 into bids and just instantly pumped it in. Thank goodness that I pumped it into MFR and not anything else, because on-chain Gaias went up even more. And yeah, it's like we're definitely big time loot box vibe, just in terms of like undefined is driving the price, and it's like that's a page 1 article that needs to be written, is like loot box pricing, and like because I'm sure somebody else has written it, but it's like just the less you know, the more there's the Peter Griffin gif and it's like well, a boat is a boat. The mystery box could be anything. Could even be a boat.
It could even be a boat.
Yeah, and it's like you don't want to know. Like people are like, one of my lines in the one, like you can find me saying this a million times, and people are like, when's the reveal? And I go, hopefully never. Like,
there's AI is in the name.
Right. Yeah. And
how could you miss?
But no, and so Gaius has been like between Gaius and Degen, and it's like just the past 2 months have been like just so whirlwind for me that I'm like not, I don't have time to think ahead.
Yeah.
I don't have time to think ahead.
Well, I think it's like a similar thing too, like we talked about earlier, of needing to know what you have like time for and like mental capacity for, and just like kind of picking your fights, because there's too much happening.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, I am not sniping the photon first things, because like I am instead farming blast and I'm doing different. And you have to just kind of know like, what are you good at? What are you bad at?
And it's like, you surround yourself with people who are good at those things, and when they scream at you about free money on the ground, you pick it up, and otherwise you just go about what you're doing.
That's basically how I interact in Lawlet's lab, because they're all just like meme coin degens, and I don't do that shit. And so every once in a while, like when everyone's just like, you gotta buy this shit, I'm like, all right, fine, I'll buy it.
It's
whatever.
like at least you see it. Like, and but it's been just the Farcaster in general, to watch it play out like has just been crazy. And yeah, I have no idea like what we're gonna do with on-chain Gaias. I've got like a bunch of stuff that I want to do with reply guys. I put a couple plans on my back burner after Ticker rugged me, because that was really fucked up. I was just like, what the fuck was this?
Fucking Ticker.
Rest in peace, Ticker.
Ticker, was that North Korean devs?
French.
Yeah.
Basically
even
North Korean.
worse, honestly.
French.
Second worst.
Yeah. But I think that there's gonna be more like channel memes that play out, and it's like, because I said to people like a month ago, and dude, I have like multiple tweets talking about how higher is a cool concept, and I never bought any. It was like $3 million. I was like, yeah, it's like the whole thing is based around the channel.
Could have hit a 30x on it.
So neat. And, but I definitely think that we're gonna see more of that. Is just like people experimenting with whether or not you even need like a Twitter page and a Discord and a Telegram if you just have a channel. Like, could you do that? Like, because you could then
no one wants to be in the fucking Telegram anyway.
Exactly.
It's just like a bunch of racist
Right.
memes. It's a bunch of people hoping the dev dies.
I'm not
It's just a
I'm
bunch
not
of
a
people
Telegram
hoping the
user.
dev
Yeah,
dies.
I'm a Discord user. I love to that's one of my favorite conversations to have with people is whether or not they're a Discord guy or a Telegram guy.
I ebb and flow.
Yeah,
I started out very Discord. I rotated
NFT tards start out very Discord,
very
usually,
Telegram.
Yeah.
I was in Discord in 2016 for like RuneScape groups.
Oh,
like
okay.
I've loved Discord for gaming.
Right.
And then got in NFTs, loved it. And then when we had our company, I hated it because it was like now this went from me getting alpha to like a responsibility. And then once we closed the company now, and I'm like starting to like it more, or like finding my groove of. But Telegram is very good for like the 10 pin chats I have.
Right.
But I don't like it for like one-on-one communication. Like there's some people who only talk.
Mine's actually the opposite. Like I don't know. Because all my groups are on Discord. And then I'll go to Telegram to chat with people individually.
So my Telegram.
But it's like, because I usually tell people to hit me up on Discord because it's like, anywhere else, I'm not gonna see it. Like
my
Twitter
Telegram
DMs,
personal tab is just like 99 plus new messages. And
well, yeah, and I also only learned about Telegram folders like
they're
like
nice.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's
SatStart was like,
So that's funny.
what are you
It's funny.
doing?
I'm the total opposite. My Telegram is always max. I've read everything. That is like, if you need me, message me on Telegram.
Are you still using Text HQ?
Yeah.
This is Inbox Zero. He's an Inbox Zero Telegram guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also like, so I use Text HQ, which is like a message aggregator.
Right. Yeah.
And I hide, like, if you add me to a group chat, anyone who has ever added me to a group chat, I have hidden your group
Looks at the
chat
camera.
and I will never look at it.
I'm not in
It
it.
is gone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm not the guy who's gonna leave your group chat, but I'm not in it for all intents and purposes.
No, I'm the exact same way. Yeah, and it's like I will talk for half an hour over the course of the first 72 hours. And then I will forget it exists until somebody like probably private messages me or something about how I missed the 100X.
I like when people at me in the group chat I have muted because then I see it.
I don't. I go every once in a while. I go and I turn off every single notification in every single server on my Discord. I go and I mute all of them and I turn it off forever. I say no at everyone, no anything.
I'm a big no notification guy. I try to turn them off for like everything.
Yeah, and so I had a yeah, me too. I don't even get text message notifications anymore. If you guys know my Uber's late on Twitter, one day he was
My
shit
Uber's
posting.
late. It's great.
One day he was shit posting about like he said he turned off his text message notifications so that he wouldn't respond to her, and I was like, you know what? I kind of like that, and I did it, and I just have never turned him back on.
I'm big on focus mode, but I do have texts for most people muted. But there's like my wife, 2 group chats.
Yeah.
And like
I have people on the.
it'll take my favorites. So
Yeah.
anybody in that top favorite section, they can
Yeah.
come through.
But I have like people. I'll go and individual because my phone's always on Do Not Disturb. I don't get any notifications. The only notifications I get are Bloomberg email.
Dude, what if we get
Twitter.
out of this though and your token is up so much? Like how you're not gonna know? You're just gonna be like,
Well,
stop.
I got the widget.
Oh, you got the widget. Okay,
How are
that's
the
all.
tokens doing? Let's see.
185 for Solana. It's like it's nice because most of my my portfolio right now, and so with points programs, it's like I was in margin 5.
I'm at 20 million margin 5 points, 15 million Camino points. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on Drift. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on Solend.
Parcel's
Parcel's cool. Parcel,
Dude, Parcel-
I like Parcel.
I didn't go to Mexico.
Yeah.
So for me, I like 15x on the NFTs.
Oh yeah.
Well, they were
and those are really interesting. Like I like what they're kind of doing with that, and because there's a coin on Farcaster called On-Chain Coin that and so they haven't launched yet. And
Oh yeah. I think I'm advising them.
yeah, Llama-Boo's dope. And so because Llama-Boo was a day one reply girl, and she's great. She like messages me all the time, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I reply eventually, I promise.
She messages me on Telegram and it's one-on-one, and
And
I'm like, I look at it a day later. I'm like, oh yeah.
Literally, I think I actually have an unopened Telegram from her right now. And
She's persistent, though.
She's
It's nice.
she's got a good attitude about it, dude.
She
That's the best thing.
She knows that she just needs to like
Yes,
bump it to the
yes.
top.
And it's like I feel like all 3 of us are probably like talking to people and we're, please God, please bump the message.
Yeah,
Please bump the message. Annoy me, please.
Well, no, my biggest thing is just please stop answering me. Because I don't want
It's like because I want to help people, especially on Farcaster, because
Yeah.
that was like the whole idea with reply guys. It's like It's like, okay, I'm going to make this. We're going to concentrate liquidity here and disperse.
Yeah.
And it's like, everybody come here, post on the channel. People who recognize you will find you. And then you can go
Sprawl
do
out.
whatever. And so on Chaincoin, they've been building a channel-centric coin, but they've been working for like a month now. Maybe, yeah. And they've done like different boosters similar to the Parcel ones, the HOAs. And so there's now like a frame where you can check your on-chain score. And like so there was an NFT booster we did one for Reply Guys. They did one for Degen, Farcastles, I think. A couple others.
Farcats. It's a big.
Yeah. Farcastles is cool. It's like a
Is that the attack south, attack north shit that you're always seeing on the timeline?
It's really funny. It's like a social game.
Yeah.
And like you have to like type a command and then it like does damage against the other
this
faction.
thing we're talking about will definitely be out by the time the pod airs. But it's like this like gamified cookie clicker social game that's going to work through Telegram.
Wait, what is?
On chain.
Oh, really?
Okay, this is me as an advisor.
This is me as an advisor. I haven't read the paper fully yet.
I don't know.
Oh, she sent it. Yeah. So anyway, you read how it works, and it's going to be this. Is it Netcoin or there's some other thing that they saw that blew up over the last month that they're like, oh, we can make this way better and do it on chain.
Okay, yeah.
So then they're taking that base and then adding more social elements and more like dopamine inducing points and boosters and you know, Pac-Manning the shit out of it.
That's what makes it so cool. Like on Farcaster to me is just like, and I was talking to a buddy who's building a game like that's like more intense, and he was a real intense fellow, great guy though. And I was like, you just need to do it and figure it out. And it's like, you just do it and see what happens.
Put
and
it out there,
like,
ship it.
When you're putting the social layer like so connected to the chain as Farcaster is, like it just creates opportunities that people see that you weren't gonna make a plan to see it. And it's like, oh wait, we could do this thing. We could do this thing. And it's like, that's why it's like, I'm like, no, dude, just jump, just go do it and figure it out. Because that's how I've gotten to where I am. And it's like, you're like, oh, because I remember like 2 months into writing page 1, and one of my good friends was like, do you get paid for this? Like, is somebody paying you? And I was like, no, nobody's paying me. Like,
how the fuck are you doing it? Why are you doing it, bro?
Yeah, and they're like, well, you should find a way to get paid from this. Like, Moon should be paying you. I'm like, why would Moon pay me? I should be paying Moon for being my shiller. And like, you just have to go figure it out.
You got to, in this space, we talked to the Monad guys a lot about this, but it's like, to get paid in this space, you normally have to do things for free. You have to figure out like, what do I need that I don't have that I am good at and can do?
Yeah.
How can I add value for nothing?
Right.
Because I know the more I give, the more I'll get. I don't know how it comes back to me, but I know it will.
Yeah. And it's like, it's one of the things that I always tell, especially like my friends who I first met like in the one, and like these are some of my best friends that I talk like on Discord all day, and like some of them still just don't have much of a Twitter presence or whatever, and it's like, you know, they'll just log in and like yap in the replies or whatever, do this, that, the other thing, and I'm like, dude, like when I'm on Twitter, like, because I've talked about it before too, like the meta of whether or not I'll follow back an account. You know, and it's like,
whether or not I'll follow that.
Nobody likes to talk about this because it's kind of weird. You don't hear people talk about this.
Oh no, I'll talk about it.
Right, but it's like, what am I looking for? Like, I'm looking for, like, you have a brain that you use, and you have some kind of personality that shows that you're a person, and you're not a giant asshole, and it's not just retweets. And once you do that, I'm like, oh, if I've seen you around a little bit, I'm like, yeah, this guy seems cool.
Yeah, the reply guy, like, ethos is you reply, add value, make it genuine.
Like, dude, I literally had Bergie's notifications on. First, I still have Bergie's notifications on, and I still just get in his replies and troll him.
I mean, I've had Kobe on notifications for like 6 years.
Yeah, same. Racer was always my favorite.
Racer...
Yeah,
Andy got me into Racer.
Yeah, no, and because like half of my half of my reply guys now, I just like hijacked from Racer. It's like good friends that I met in Racer's replies. There's like literally, there's like a cohort.
It's like Bellith.
Yeah, it's Bellith. Yeah,
Bellith is one of the funniest
and
accounts.
Chip.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of others.
Bellith's
L1
hilarious.
Batty.
Oh yeah.
And they're great. They're all just, and it's like those people are also like, they're people who are like, it's just funny because especially since like between Friend Tech and now, it's like you always see the same faces. Like you see the same people are going to go do, and the same people are going to tweet, "This is dumb," and it's all
same
just so
dotties.
beautifully predictable. And I'm just like, can you just do the thing so that you don't have to buy my bags and you can just get some for free with me? Like what are you doing? And it's like, some people are so silly.
Joining Discords and getting roles
But
and
it's
getting
like-
tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah, I missed my Mad Lad wormhole roll.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
That's-
not. I wasn't unhappy about it until he tweeted like, until the Mad Lad founder guy, like,
Tristan?
yeah, he said some shit that was like, oh, you bought and you did nothing. And
you're a freeloader. It's like
you bought but it was like, and it really irked me. I literally listed my Mad Lad. Please, somebody go buy it. It's a great one. I'll miss it.
It's clean.
And it's like, oh yeah, I did nothing but wear the profile picture around for
we
like
know a couple
months.
guys who have like 10 plus Mad Lads and they weren't in the Discord and they're like pretty irate. Like, hey, like we held this thing,
Dude, and it's like, I understand if you want to say that those were the rules, that's fine with me.
They didn't even tweet
but
about
if
it.
you want to tweet about, if you want to say to me that I did nothing, I will sell your shit.
So I went to the Mad Lads Twitter account and I have this extension called Tweet Hunter and it's like great for finding old tweets. And I typed in Discord, nothing. Typed in wormhole, nothing. Typed in roll, nothing.
And there might,
I'm
no,
like,
there
they
might have
never
been
even
like,
tweeted
there
about
might
it.
have been like one esoteric thing, like one esoteric hint. And it was like, I was like, dude,
You're just
like,
not committed enough. If you're
Yeah.
spending $50,000 on an asset, I want you on your hands and
Dude,
knees,
and-
human
but that's the-
centipede style, in the fucking Discord, submitting to my
it's
will,
just so like,
or I'm not going to reward you.
it's so tiring because of the fact that like the person in the Discord is like, when you think about it, it's like, okay, who is probably actually like
Annoying.
providing more value to this picture? Like somebody who isn't in the Discord because they're out doing things, or
Adding to
somebody
their
who's
on-chain
just sitting in the
reputation.
Discord. It's like, is it more valuable for you to see your profile pictures in your server or on my profile? It's probably my profile.
Everybody knows what it
and
is.
so it's like, dude, I'll go get a puppet and support world peace. Like, I don't give a fuck. And it's like, but that's the thing. And it's like, you know, I'm sure he's probably a great guy, blah, blah, blah. I didn't appreciate the tone. I was like, yeah, nah, somebody buy this shit.
Yeah, I felt bad. I put out some shit posts to prod my friends because I didn't miss out on it. It's one of those things where, like, if I missed out
I'm
on
pretty
it,
sure
fire,
somebody added
fire
me.
and brimstone
Like,
on the timeline.
yeah, somebody probably added me about it. And it's like, that's why I'm like, I don't care. I understand you have to, like, you just have to, a lot of the times people, and this is with everything. It's like, oh, you should have done it this way. Oh, you should have done it that way. It's like, dude, it just had to be done a way, okay? Like, there's something to bitch about with every way. And it's like, that's why I empathize with, like, come to your Discord and claim your role. Like, sure. But, like, you're not going to tell me I did nothing.
Yeah, I didn't mind the ones for, like, I thought Dim was pretty open for a while.
Yeah.
But I know a lot, there was, like, half the people who own a Pudgy didn't claim the Dim airdrop. And then all the Pudgies got double the allocation
Ooh,
because...
yeah. That was dope.
And it was like, we were on Twitter retweeting it like, hey, if you have a Pudgy,
right,
free
yeah.
stuff.
And dude, I mean, because I think even it's funny because like even the people who are just always locked in, like I am just as much like what's the word? I'm just as likely to like just look at a link and be like, oh, I'll get to that. It's like no,
You never get to it.
will
If you don't
not.
get to it
You
in
will
5
not get to
seconds,
it.
it's you're
do
gonna
it,
forget.
now or
do it
never.
right now. Yeah, it's like, and I mean because and it's Moon's tweet about how onboarding friction's just always bullish, and
Yeah.
it's like that's why ordinals worked, and it's like that's why like what else is there that was just an absolute layup, and all you had to do was like just bridge, and it's like
Blast. It's farming Blast.
yeah, I mean it probably
We're
is.
gonna keep-
It probably is. I know. Now I'm gonna like go home and like, I gotta get on Blast.
You get your first gold distribution and be like, oh shit, I'm cooking.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like. I hate when I have to read and like figure things out. I'm like,
You're looking at all the Pac-Man charts and there's just
somebody just come click my mouse.
Horrible design pattern.
There's
please come click my mouse.
sideways pyramids on top of sideways pyramids.
Somebody said that. Somebody said that
It's
blast
a split
is
globe.
like
It's a yin and yang symbol.
Somebody said blast is like it just looks like a it just looks like a rug.
Yeah. Well, when they had the original tweets about it, the post that they made you post looked like a scam. It literally looked like
so bullish.
Dude, so they're like, I love that Blur. Like the Blur team, they're like super smart and like they figure out the way to get you to click your mouse.
Their incentive design is just like
it's like somebody's red nudge.
And
here.
I wasn't like Annie and I both invested
nudge?
in Blur.
You big nudge guy?
The book?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Is that Robert Thaler? Or?
Yeah, Thaler,
Yeah. I've listened to him talk, and I've probably got the big ideas.
Right, yeah.
But I have not.
It's like how it's basically like if you organize a stovetop in a square, like you're not able to determine which of the 4 knobs go. Mm-hmm. But if you organize it in a trapezoid, and then you organize the knobs in a trapezoid, it's like all those types of things, and it's like how you can structure things to push somebody.
This is what you do. You put a big fucking green button on your website.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what it says. I'm clicking it.
And like, and that's the other thing is like default option. Like if you're opted in, like there's one about like if you're opted into your 401k, it's like 88% or something versus like the absolute inverse, like 27% or something. Like people will go. It's like people do not want to do things.
Yeah.
It's
like if you give them yield on the thing they bridge and they don't need to.
And like that's one of the other things that I think that I really enjoy being in crypto for is just because like we are talking about such unfiltered humanism. It's disgusting. Literally disgusting. But you are like you're looking at these charts and it's like you are literally looking at the monkey brain. And
it's the human psychology.
And like people, when you get all freaked out and it dips and this, that, the other thing, like there's always an explanation. And so I have like an appreciation of history first. Like that's one of the first things that I ever like taught myself. And so when I was in high school, I thought that I might go to college for history. I ended up going for accounting, which is almost similar in a way. It's record keeping, and like
accounting's a really helpful skill to have.
It actually there's the frameworks that you learn, like especially outside of like financial and more into like business managerial, are really helpful. But like historically, when you read like Mike Duncan Revolutions, it's a really good podcast. Let me plug him. He's the man. And it's like you go back and you listen to how these people look at history and like you're like, okay, why did this happen? Like, let's look at the primary sources and figure it out. And it's like that I use that when I'm looking at anything, whether it's Solana, Base, Bonk, Degen, like all of these things, like you need to be pulling yourself and your own opinions out of it to a level where you're kind of just observing. And it's like, that's why a lot of the time, like sometimes I'll make a trade or do this, that, the other thing. And people disagree with it on like some kind of moral, ethical, this, that, the other thing level. And I'm like, listen, I'm simply putting myself in a position where the waves of humanity are going to push me towards profit. Probably. That's probably what I'm doing. And like, a lot of the things in the world are just trying to fight human nature. I don't find it useful to fight human nature. And it's like, I made an analogy on Farcaster and it's like, because a lot of people on Farcaster, like I said, non-financial and this, that, the other thing. And it's like meme coins going off. And it's like people who are working on real things are like understandably frustrated that all of the attention in this space goes towards speculation on the dumbest assets history has ever seen. And I'm like, listen, you are trying to build a brick wall in the middle of the ocean. It's not very fun. I don't know how it works. You'd have to talk to an engineer. And like, instead of trying to build a brick wall here, why don't we build a mill or something? Okay, it's like you need to figure out when you are in like consumer crypto, and it's like IKB is the same thing, and it's like all of these apps where it's like, oh, I wish somebody was using my app instead of gambling. Well, it's like, okay, what if your app was gambling? but it's like you need to.
Interesting you should say that.
A lot of the time,
I got an app for you.
Yeah, a lot of the time you see
bet?
people.
Can we get the free bet guy a ref code?
Yeah, let me
this guy would love the free bet.
I'll give him a free bet even.
Yeah, I need a free. Yeah,
every bet's a free bet.
I actually sent it to him a long time ago. I don't know whether or not he ever used it. I'm gonna be like, bro,
every
you
bet's
could
a
have
free
made
bet.
so much money already, and he's gonna be like, how do I do this? I don't know.
There's one guy who's farming the app right now, and he's making like 500 blast gold a day.
That's insane. How much is? I don't even understand what blast gold is. This just points.
So based on high valuation, he's making like 50 grand a day. Based on low, he's making like 10 grand a day.
Yeah, it's pretty volatile range because you're kind of going off this whale market OTC price.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically they're on whale market.
Right,
There are
so they're just points.
There's blur points, and gold is ratio of blur points. So like, is it each gold is 20,000?
So there's 100 million gold that will ever exist.
God, they're so fucking good with
Yeah.
this.
Oh, dude.
So 50% of the airdrop is points. 50% is gold.
This is a game.
Oh yeah.
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 And
This
so
is a
gold
chain.
is fixed. Points can inflate.
Okay.
And so dApps on Blast are being allocated over time this 100 million gold to give away.
Right.
And so basically any gold you get is in a bucket of 100 million that is 50% of the airdrop.
Not diluted.
Okay,
It
okay,
will
Not,
not be.
and will not be diluted.
Right.
And so points will fluctuate and change, and
right.
the amount.
So you'd rather have gold than points.
Yeah, and so like the amount of gold you have at any given time is worth a certain amount of points, but that changes as points increase.
Right.
Because they add all these fucking multipliers and
There's just so many like, and this is what I mean, where it's like, dude, you need to pull your head out of the fucking photon new pairs, unless that's your thing, and you're like, because I have
Killing
like,
it.
I have
There's
like
some
one
idiot
boy in
savants
mind, and
who
he's
are
made like way too much money in the last like 2 months. Just like he's literally just like, I'm like, how did you?
I mean, if you're in
how
the
did
top-
you hit this again? How did you do this again? Why is this what?
Every time.
Just wait, it's like the sun rises, and you're up fucking 40x over here. I'm like, okay, have a good day. I love you.
Just put his wallet on alerts.
Yeah, I mean, he sends me the info, and I'm just like, oh.
But the blast gold thing, yeah. The more we talk about it, the more bullish I get on it. And some of it is me trying to rationalize having $400,000 in a yield. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Like part of it is
there's some rationalization needed.
I'm trying to fight this bias of like I'm a fucking moron, but then like maybe this will work.
And like I think that's like exactly where I find myself with a lot of my trades is like, but I'm at the point where I had a tweet like a couple weeks ago, and it's like I'm at the point where I don't like being spread out. Like if I get to like 8 bags, I'm like, I need to consolidate this because like I just want to make sure that I'm taking swings large enough that they matter. And it's like either way, win or lose, like I want this trade to be named, like the bonk trade, the BOEM trade, the MFR trade. It's like no, you should be able to remember like your trades, or you're in my opinion, my less than professional idiot opinion, you've got something wrong in sizing, in quantity, because it's like, dude, I was watching friends like, oh, when you're intraday trading the photon pairs, you're gonna get half piped on Solana, big time, and then you're just gonna, you sell 100% of your bag. It's like, brother, first of all, just sell 90% of that and hide the pair.
Keep that 10% for the pot cat.
And then you're like, holy shit, wait, I just got half piped. Oh, wait, I have 10% of that left. And like, you just, when you're going in and out like that, you're not giving things time to develop. Like, and right now I'm kind of in between. Like, I feel like Degen's probably my largest holding besides Solana. BitTensor, which we're gonna just hold. BitTensor's the one where
AI
like,
Bitcoin.
Do you have like, did either of you guys have like a DeFi dinosaur that you like became a believer on? Like, were either of you like a Link Marine type deal? Because I'm like, I feel like I'm just ready to be
You're
a Tau Twink. Yeah.
Tau Twink, that's better than
I've
a
got
Tia
like
training.
5 years. Yeah. I casted on Farcaster like 2 days ago, and I was like, I'm pretty close to capitulating my modular bags.
My issues, I gotta wait 21 days to even capitulate.
I already did that.
Dude, I did this whole thing where I split them up in 20 different wallets. I did all this shit.
I can't capitulate.
Now you haven't gotten any airdrops.
No.
Where are airdrops?
But I split up my puppets, and that's kind of work.
Where are my airdrops, DRT?
I put 10 puppets into 10 different wallets, and then I kept.
Yeah, what's up with that?
That's been
I saw
better.
you tweet, and that like literally I saw your tweet about the time to split up my assets across all my wallets.
Took me an
make
hour.
sure that I get more assets.
I was literally in fucking Excel.
I literally just sighed and scrolled, and I was like, I know I should do that. I'm not gonna.
Well, the RSIC thing is what really woke me up. Like, if I had those split and more of those
Which one was it?
RSICs. They're the
oh wait, yes.
The fucking rune farming
with
thing.
all the weird loot.
Yeah,
things.
so if I would have had my stuff split up for R6, I would have made
like a full Bitcoin
3+ Bitcoin.
That's crazy.
But since I kept everything in one wallet, I got 2 R6.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I need to not do this. And then DIM was another one where I had all my TIA in one wallet, and it's like I did the math on if that TIA was broken into 250 TIA chunks across 20 wallets.
And then you considered jumping off the roof.
Yes, and I was like, well, I would have made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and instead I got 8K DIM or whatever, which is still great. 8K DIM or however much I got was like 40K
Dime.
still. In my dumbass, I staked all of it.
It's time.
Oh, I sold
Dime.
all that.
Yeah, no,
See, fuck you, Tolks.
I can't wait to see what the wormhole price is after this pod because I haven't been able to sell it. We're coming up on.
Yeah, we should probably, if you guys want to get to
I
the
have to
Schiller
piss.
thing, we should.
We have a question we ask everybody, which is, if you had to write your autobiography today, what would the title be?
Modern Idiot, Future Prophet.
I like
I
that.
like it.
Dude, this has been a vibe. I lost track of time.
It was a good one.
I lost track of time until I had to pee.
I love a good conversation that you just bounce around too much and then you bounce back to the first one because that's just me. I just yap.
Yeah, no,
And
it's
like,
good. That's
yeah,
the
I was talking to. This is a good line to get in. I was talking to Die with the Most Likes yesterday, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, I remember like delivering Papa John's pizzas in 2020, and just like listened. I was in my Joe Rogan era, and I was like, dude, I'd be great on Joe Rogan." And it's like you're just kind of like our Web3 Joe Rogan, except you haven't asked me about the COVID vaccine yet.
Well, we could get into there in the next episode.
What? Maybe we need a spin-off pod for that.
I'm
Just conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I'm unvaxxed if anybody was trying to figure that out. But yeah, this has been a vibe.
Absolutely has.
All
It's
right.
been an
I'm
absolute
excited
pleasure.
for part 2, page 2 will be the second episode instead of page 1. Dude, this has been great.